Hey guys, Kevin, and this is gonna be another classic movie review for you guys, and this movie I'm gonna be reviewing. This is a movie that I've really wanted to see. I planned on watching this last year, but for whatever reason, I didn't want to watch it. I don't know why. Probably because it kind of took me off guard. It was very different than what I thought it was gonna be. But I figured because Terminator Genesis is coming out this Wednesday, I'm gonna start reviewing the Terminator movie, starting with the 1984 thriller classic The Terminator. Now, The Terminator, as I said, I meant to review this last year. I never got a chance to. The movie really took me off guard. It was very different than what I thought it was going to be, and that's understandable because The Terminator was definitely, again, on the second time, different than what I thought it was going to be. But I will definitely say that as I said, I am going to be viewing the Terminator movie, starting with this one. And overall, what I think of the Terminator? The Terminator is not a perfect movie, but it is, for the most part, a very entertaining, high-octane thriller that is really awesome and has really good elements to it. It does have a few little problems here that they could have maybe tweaked a little bit, but that's really it. Let's first get to the plot of the Terminator, which I think is really awesome. I really do love the plot of the movie. Now, when you talk about the Terminator, it kind of is hard to talk about the plot because the way they start this movie, they have a little excerpt of basically, a little information of what actually is going on in the movie, and then basically they tell you later what's going on. Basic plot, you have basically these two beings from the year 2029. They are sent to May 12th, 1984 in Los Angeles. One is this Terminator T-800, which is this cyborg that's sent to kill this young woman named Sarah Connor, while the other is Kyle Reese, who is sent to protect her. And basically, he is sent out, as I said, basically T-800 sent out to kill Sarah Connor. Now, Sarah Connor is basically this woman that she doesn't really have the best life. She has like a really bad job and things like that. And basically Kyle Reese basically tells her what's going on, and he basically has to do whatever he can to protect her from the T-800, and that basically is the plot of the Terminator. I know that might not have been the best description, but when it comes to this movie, you gotta be really careful not to reveal too much. I'll talk about why. But like I said, that's something about this movie that I thought was really good. I really do love the plot of this movie. Let's get to the acting in this movie, because the acting is one of the things that I think makes this movie as good as it is. I'm actually going to talk about Linda Hamilton first, because she really is the main character here. While the movie bills Arnold Schwarzenegger, as the main lead, really Linda Hamilton is the main character. Sarah Connor, I really do love her character. I think that she is just a really great character. You really do care for her. And plus, you're kind of seeing things through her. I mean, you're as lost as she is. When all this is starting to go on, you don't really understand. Because, again, as I said, we only get this little excerpt on the screen. And then, as Kyle Reese starts explaining things to her, she starts to understand more and more what's going on. And when she finds out what's going on, she actually doesn't want this life. She doesn't want to be, she doesn't want to be the mother, of this, what's going on, everything. She doesn't want to do that, and I thought that was really interesting when we saw that. I thought her character was really compelling because of that. Some of the things of her character were a little bit cheesy, but I thought for the most part she handled it really well, and I definitely thought she was really good. Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese, I thought he was really good as well. My only thing is I feel like there is a relationship between the two. They try to make it, and it is a little bit of a spoiler, but there is like a little bit of a relationship between the two. It felt a little cliche. There was chemistry between the two, but I never really saw it like romantically. It was more like a friendship, but I thought he still did a really good job. By far, though, the best part of this movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-800. Something interesting about this movie that I don't think you guys know. When Arnold Schwarzenegger was cast, they were actually very skeptical about casting him in this movie. They didn't think they should cast someone who didn't have any prior movie experience. They didn't think he'd be good, but he was amazing in this movie. I mean, he has a very challenging role as the T-800, because if you guys don't know, the T-800 they don't have any emotion. Like, they can't say anything. They basically just talk like this. They don't have any emotion whatsoever. Basically, when you hear robotic acting, that's exactly what he used to do. It's actually very hard to do, and I think Arnold Schwarzenegger did a fantastic job of that. Never once did he crack a smile. Never once did he have any sort of emotion, and he did a fantastic job with that, honestly. It was a very hard role to pull off, and I think he pulled it off very well, definitely. Um, I guess there are a few other characters I could talk about. Paul Winfield plays this police lieutenant. I thought he was really good. Lance Hendrickson was also really good. And also Bess Mata as Sarah's roommate Ginger. I thought she's not in the movie that much, but for what she was in, she was definitely really good. So all the acting was definitely very good. Obviously, as I said, Arnie steals the show, but I definitely loved everyone else in the movie. The directing here by James Cameron was really good, I have to say. I really like the way he directed this movie. He directed in a very different way than I thought it was going to be. If you guys don't know, this movie's not an action movie. It's definitely more of a thriller, and it definitely is, really high octane as well, which I thought was really well done. The action scenes, are very well done. It was very well put together. And something I thought was very good that James Cameron did is not reveal a lot. He did whatever he could to basically just kind of confuse you, because when the movie starts you're like, okay, I don't fully understand what's going on, but then as the movie goes on you start to understand more and more, and I really like the way James Cameron did that. I thought he did a really good job directing it, and definitely very terrific directing. He did a great job, and I can't wait to see how he does in the second movie. Really, I can't. I think he did a great job here. The screenplay as well, I thought, was definitely very interesting. It does bring up some of my complaints with the movie. They're very small. They're not big complaints, but they are pretty small complaints. For the most part, Terminator is a very entertaining movie, but I did feel sometimes the movie got a little bit cheesy, and that's not the movie's fault. It was 1984. Back then, it wasn't seen as cheesy. But there is sort of like, there's one scene in the movie that I felt was really just out of place and didn't really make sense, and there were some things that I thought were a bit cliche as well. But other than that, I really enjoyed the screenplay. I thought the dialogue between the characters was really good. The movie was really compelling. There was no point when I was bored with the movie. There was no point where I'm like, I don't want to see this scene. It did take me a little while to get into it, I will say that, but I thought they did a great job of that, definitely, and I definitely, really enjoyed that, I have to say. I thought, for the most part, I really loved the screenplay of this movie. Cinematography, yes, it's a bit dated. It is 1984. It's going to be a bit dated. It's not, there wasn't CGI yet or all that kind of stuff, but I think it still does hold up today. It's not horrible cinematography. It's not cinematography where you're like, I don't like that. What is that? That's horrible. It's not like that. I think it still does hold up today for the most part. I think they did a great job with that, and that was definitely really good with the cinematography. I mean, there are some breathtaking action scenes. There's this one action scene where there's like this shootout. It's one of the first action scenes of the movie. It was breathtaking. I was on the edge of my seat, and honestly, I think that's the best thing they handled in this movie is the tension. I mean, the whole movie, there's just building, building, building tension, and the editing. Let me say something about this movie. The quote here says a fast, clever, suspenseful, and shocking piece of work. The movie is fast-paced, but it's also very slow-paced. It actually takes a very long time for the action to start, and I thought that was really good because it made it more effective. It kind of throws you off when there's no action. It's like, okay, there was this big action scene, now what's going on here? And then when the action really starts, it never lets go. It just keeps going and going and going. The tension's building and building, and I thought they did a great job with that in the movie. I definitely really enjoyed that, and that's something I thought was very, very well handled. The action sequences were awesome to this movie, definitely. Also, the score was perfect. It was really tense, it was really synth score, a very uncomfortable score, and I thought they did a really great job with the score of this movie. I definitely really enjoyed it, and that's something I thought was really good. The movie's surprisingly pretty short for a Terminator movie. I thought the movie would be longer, but it's not. The second one's actually much longer, which I am definitely looking forward to the second one. I can already tell the second one's going to be better than the first one, but now I really want to get into spoilers for the Terminator, because I do want to talk about some things that I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. If you guys haven't seen the Terminator, check it out. It is very different than what you're going to expect it to be. Definitely, it's very different, but check it out. I think it still does hold up well today. It's not perfect. If I had to grade it, I would give it a 4.5 or an A-, but now I'm going to get into the spoilers and talk about what I really thought was interesting about the movie. So let me talk about my one biggest problem with this movie. So I like the way they did it with Kyle Reese, basically revealing things to Sarah Connor, that John Connor was the leader of the Resistance and things like that. I thought that was really interesting, and that he was part of the Resistance. But the reveal that he was John Connor's father, I was like, I kind of like that and I kind of don't because it just kind of came out of nowhere in a way. I mean, the way he was protecting her, yeah, it kind of did seem like he was romantically into her and things like that. When they started to rush the relationship and the sex scene came on, I felt it was all a bit rushed. I'm like, whoa, 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 back up here for a second. No, this is a little bit too rushed. I thought they could have maybe handled it a little bit better. It wasn't bad. I just felt like they could have handled it a little bit better. You know, I just maybe tweaked it a little bit. I would have been fine with that. Really, I would have. For the most part, though, I really like that. I do really want to talk about the final action scene between Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese and the T-800. Here's my question: how the fuck does this thing make it into the second movie if it's destroyed? I don't understand that. We know that there's a Terminator 2, there's a T2, there's a T3, there's a Terminator Salvation, there's a Terminator Genesis. How does this thing survive? It was crushed. Like, how does it survive? I don't understand that. I guess the second movie will answer that question. Pretty awesome fight, though. I thought that was a pretty awesome fight. I did think it was kind of dumb that they killed off Kyle. I didn't think they'd actually do that because, like, Kyle Reese, I heard, apparently is in Terminator Genesis, I heard, and also in Terminator in T3, I heard he's in. I'm not sure. I believe he's in those movies. I did hear Terminator Genesis he is in, definitely. But that really didn't make a lot of sense to me. I guess he's in, like, flashbacks or something. I'm not really sure. But when they killed him off, I'm like, that was kind of cheap. You know, you could have kept him along. You could have, they didn't kill off the T-800, well, they did kill him off, but, the first time that we thought he was dead, he wasn't dead. So when Kyle died, I was like, that's kind of dumb. I didn't like the way they did that. And then, of course, we have probably the funniest line in the movie, honestly. It's such a funny, hilarious line. It's like, fuck you, it's like, you're terminated, fucker, and it was, like, hilarious when she said that. Honestly, I found that funny. I did. I shouldn't have, but I did, and, that was fine, honestly. It might not have been cheesy then, but it's really cheesy now. And the way the movie ended, I thought was really good, though. I liked that the movie ended with Sarah, basically going to Mexico, recovering from what happened to her, recording that audio tape for her son, so when he's alive, he'll be able to hear it. And then, of course, she stops at that gas station. That small boy does come up. Here's what I don't understand, though. If Kyle Reese is dead... Actually, no, that makes perfect sense. I was trying to think of something. That actually makes perfect sense. I was trying to think if Kyle Reese is dead, how's John Connor alive? It makes perfect sense, though. Honestly, it makes perfect sense. Basically, she goes to this gas station, and the small boy comes up to her with this photograph, which she purchases, and it's the same photograph that John is later going to give to Kyle, but obviously Kyle's dead, so I don't understand how that's all going to work out. But the way they ended with that storm, that is definitely showing that it's not over. There is going to be more battle. There's going to be, the second one, and obviously we know there's a second one, but I think they set that up pretty well. I definitely really enjoyed that, and overall, I thought that was definitely set up pretty well. So overall, guys, I definitely really love The Terminator. I think it still does hold up well today. It's not a masterpiece, I will definitely say that. I don't think it's an amazing movie, but it is definitely very awesome. It has some awesome action sequences. It has some really great performances. It has a really great story as well. That's one of the things I love. I really do love the story of The Terminator. I think the story is really interesting. As cliche as it is a very fascinating story, definitely. I really do like that story. So, yeah, that's something I do like right away, is the story. But that's basically it. I can't wait to see T2. I know it's going to be 10 times better than this. I mean, it's not that I did love this movie. I did. There were parts of this movie where I really did love it. But I can already tell that I'm going to love T2 more. And that makes sense because it was the 1990s. They improved with effects and things like that. I can tell how that movie's going to be better. So overall, Terminator, though, is still an enjoyable watch. I recommend you still check it out. If you're going to watch the Terminator movies, you have to start with this one. T2's not going to make sense unless you watch this one. You pretty much are obligated to, and you should, because it's still a great movie. So that's basically it for my review of The Terminator. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie if you have seen it. I definitely, as I said, I'm looking forward to checking out T2. I think it's going to be even more, I know it's going to be more awesome than The Terminator. I can't wait for it. That's basically it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for my review of tonight's episode of True Detective, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.